Thought of the day. After my last video, I was thinking more about how private healthcare and the NHS sometimes blur together. Because if you can pay for treatment, even inside an NHS hospital, your care gets accelerated. Is that right? And what does that really mean? Yes, you can get private treatment in an NHS hospital. Some NHS hospitals run private patient units or dedicate certain rooms, wards for privately funded care. As a private patient, you might get faster access, more flexibility, and often you pick your consultant. But NHS rules say your private care must be kept separate from NHS-funded care. Private and NHS treatment for the same condition can't be mixed in the same episode of care. In reality though, some NHS trusts treat a small but noticeable number of private patients. Data shows that typically only approximately 0.5% of finished consultant episodes in NHS hospitals are for private patients. But that still amounts to thousands of cases. So yes, if you pay privately, even inside an NHS hospital, you might skip the queue. That person I know, maybe they were fast-tracked, maybe the hospital and doctor agreed to take them privately, and their case was treated differently. Strange, maybe, but allowed under certain circumstances, which raises some questions, and not small ones. If a doctor does private procedures in an NHS hospital, are they still working for the NHS at the same time? Possibly. YES NHS consultants are allowed to do private work, as long as regulations are followed. That means a doctor could illegally earn NHS pay and, separately, private pay. Are hospitals or trusts encouraging this? Many NHS trusts now run like businesses. Some have dedicated private patient units to generate extra revenue. Here's the thing, the NHS was built on the principle of equal care for all. But when private care sits under the same roof, under the same doctors, and seems to get fast-tracked, that principle starts to blur. So today's thought is this: if you're able and willing to pay, the NHS will accelerate your care. But should access to timely treatment depend on your bank balance, even when it's happening under the NHS name? Because when private pay-ins are accepted by NHS hospitals, and when doctors do both NHS and private work under one roof, it's not just a funding or capacity issue. It becomes a two-tier system, and the deeper question becomes, are NHS trusts and our systems leadership prioritizing money and convenience over fairness and equal access? Maybe it started as a way to reduce waiting lists. Maybe it feels pragmatic when the NHS is overwhelmed. But turning a health system into a partial marketplace, even within its own buildings, changes the meaning of public healthcare. If you can pay, you get fast care. If you can't, you wait. And that, I think, is worth stopping to think about. Because when the line between NHS and private care gets blurred, who are we becoming?